Tech channel. Today we are going to learn about function or methods in Java using BlueJ. So before I start, I'll request you to subscribe my channel so that you can watch all the latest videos on computer and technologies. So let's start with function. Now what is function? A part of the program which is used simultaneously at different instances in a program to perform a specific task is known as method or function. Now the concept of function is very useful in the field of mathematics. If we say that y is a function of x, which is expressed as y equals to gx, it means if we pass a value to the x in gx, then gx will return a value that will be stored in y as output. So for example, if we take y equals to 7x minus 2, so if we pass 3 as a value of x, then the function will return 19. That means 7 into 3, 21 minus 2 is 19 as output. So we can assume a function as a block capable of accepting one or more input but returning a single output as shown in the above diagram. See, we can provide more than one input, but the output will be only one at a time. So we can conclude that a function is a black box for the user that is capable of returning an output. Similarly, the methods available in the Java class acts as a black box. When we supply values, that is arguments, to a method, it processes the code available within it and returns the output. See, input arguments, that means the input is provided, Java code is inside the box, and then it will provide output based on the input. Next, what are the advantages of function? So first one is it hides low level inner code details from the users. Second, it reuses the segment of the class codes whenever and wherever required by simply using method name. If it makes a complex computational task easy. How? Just by dividing it into a collection of smaller methods. Defining a method or defining a function. So a function stands for creating complete structure along with logical and computational block of a method. Now friends, it is interesting to know that defining a method has no link with writing the definition of a method. It is actually defining a method stands for creating complete structure along with logical and computational block of a method. So what is the general structure or the general form of a method? So first is access specifier, then return type, then method name, and then in small bracket we write parameter list. After that we have a statement that is called block of the function, and then return type. See the example: public int add, int a and int b. So public is the access specifier over here, int is the return type, add is the method name, and the parameter list is int a and int b. Inside the block we have int c equals to 0, c equals to a plus b, and then it will return c. That means sum of a and b. Now features of a return statement. So before I'll start features of return statement, let's see what is return statement. So the statement which sends back the value, that is output, from a method to the caller program. So let's see the features. Number one, it is applied at the end of a method from where it terminates. Second, no statement in the method can be executed after a return statement. See example. In this we have int a equals to 0, a equals to x plus y, return a, and after that we have s equals to x minus y, So friends, this will not be executed. After return statement, the program will be terminated. Next characteristics or next features is it can only return a single value from a method to its caller. See, int a equals to 0, b equals to 0, a equals to x plus y, b equals to x minus y. If we write return a comma b will not be executed. It is an illegal approach. Next, a function may have more than one termination point. Yes friends, we can use more than one return type. If x greater than y, return x, else return y. So either x will be the output or y will be the output based on the value of x and y. Next, in case of multiple return statement implied in a method, only one of them can be activated to return the control. See, int a equals to 0, b equals to 0, c equals to a plus b, d equals to a into b, return c, return d. So only c will be the output, d will not be executed. So only the first statement will be executed. Now invoking a function. Till now we were discussing as how a method block can be created. Now we will come to know as how a method is used in a program and as and when required by the user. So the process of using a method in a program is referred as invoking or calling a method. Invoking a method is illustrated below. See the examples. Let's see the coding. See friends, import java.io, then class name is sum. We have a function called add, public int add, and the parameter is int m and int n. Inside that block we have int s equals to 0, s equals to m plus n, return s. So this s will store the sum of m and n. Okay. Now this is called body of the method. After that we have public static void main. In this we have three variables a, b and p. So a and b user will enter and p will store this the sum of a and b. So p equals to obj dot add a comma b. Before that, see, sum equals to obj equals to new sum. This line, see this segments, this sum obj equals to new sum is creating object of the class sum. Okay, and the next line p equals to obj dot add in bracket a comma b is invoking method add. Yes friends, this is the method to invoke a function. Now next, actual and formal parameters. Let's see the coding. Same codes we have over here. So in this, in add function we have int m and int n, and when we are invoking the function, in that we have a and b. So this m and n call formal parameters, and this a and b are called actual parameters. So let's see the definition of actual and formal parameters. The parameters which are described in the function definition, that is to receive the value, are called formal parameters, whereas the parameters described in the caller definition, that is the value passed to the method, are known as actual parameter. Next, function overloading. So function overloading is defined as the process of defining a function or methods with the same function name but with different numbers and types of parameters. So let's see an example of defining overloaded function. Int area, int a and int b are the parameter in this function. Next we have double area, double a and double b are the parameters for this function. Again we have double area, in that we have int a and double b. Int area we have int a, int b and int c. In this we have different parameters. So this is an example of function overloading. So what is the need to overload a function? It is reliable to use many functions with same name for similar operations, since if different function names are used for similar operations, then user may have a lot of interactions and they require to remember a number of functions and names at the time of invocation. That's why we use function overloading. Next is data binding. Now, what is data binding? System finds the best match for the function argument and the parameters during program compilation. This is termed as data binding. Now, very important thing in function is recursive function. Now, what is recursive function? A function designed in such a way that it calls itself in its body. It's called recursive function. Let's see the segment of a code. Class recursive. Then we have int fact. So fact is the function name. In this we have parameter int n. If n equals to 0, it will return a 1. Otherwise, else it will return n into fact n minus 1. So this part will repeat itself. Now next, public static void main. In this we have k equals to 5 and then f. Now we are creating the object of the class recursive. Then we are invoking the function f equals to obj dot fact. Function is the function name. Then we are passing the parameter, that is k. System.out.println factorial of the number k is f. So f will store the factorial. Thanks for watching this video. I hope you like this. So if you like this, you please like my video and share it with your friends. Thank you. Have a nice day.